This is the plaintiff, Deborah Sly. She says the defendants are her siblings, and family or no family, they owe her for a car. That's right. They're both trying to duck out on paying her what they owe her, and she's not about to let that happen. So she's suing each of them for the $1,799 they owe her. These are the defendants, David and Julie Comer. David says there's no bad blood between the plaintiff and them now, but there's going to be if the plaintiff doesn't start seeing some common sense. They're not responsible to pay the plaintiff for the car, which was totaled by some guy trying to outrun the cops. She needs to go after him, and they owe her nothing. They're accused of causing a family squabble.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says siblings or no siblings, she is suing her sisters because they took her car. But the defendants say they aren't responsible for the car because some guy running from the cops crashed into them. It's the case of dissing sisters.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Sly, you are suing David Comer and Julie Comer, your siblings, for the Blue Book value of your Oldsmobile Intrigue plus the amount of a tow, because according to you, thanks to them, it crashed. Tell me what happened.
Friday, August 13th, my brother Michael died.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And then he wasn't found until August 16th is when they found his body. And we made arrangements with the manager to meet him the next day to get Michael's car, my brother Michael's car, and his belongings. And so when we got the car, we had decided we was gonna sell it for $900. And I told him that, I wanted to buy it.
Can I ask you a question? Who made the decision to sell the car for $900? Because that's below the Blue Book value of the car. Was the car in bad shape?
No, it wasn't.
So who set the price at $900?
Basically, Bodie said $900, and we agreed with it.
Who did?
David.
Okay.
He don't like to be called David, so we call him D.
Okay. So D set the price. Everybody agreed to it, and then what happened?
Well, Wednesday, August 18th, the manager didn't show up for us to pick up the car or the belongings, and somebody had. So we called the police and made a report because somebody had stole everything.
The car
out of
and
his
the
apartment
belongings?
and everything. Yeah, and his belongings in the apartment.
Wow. And did you ever find out who stole it?
Well, yes. Actually, the detective finally called my brother. I believe that was August 20th. No, that's when he got a hold of the manager about Michael's things and asked about the car being towed.
Who stole the stuff?
I have no idea.
When you said the detective finally got a hold of D.
David about the car. He had found the car only.
Oh, they found the car, but they did not find out who stole it.
Well, they was right at the girl's house, but I don't know. I'm sorry.
All right, so the car gets found, and then what decision is made? You decide that you're going to buy it, so you give each of your siblings $300, so that
yes,
that covers the $900 price. So now it's your car, correct? But does anybody go to court and go to probate and get the title transferred or anything?
No.
Did anyone go to the Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles and show that they're the siblings and that it should be in your name?
Yes.
Is it in Michael's name? Whose name is the car in?
When it was totaled, it was in Michael's name.
Right. So it was never in your name, correct?
No, correct.
But both of you, Dee and Julie, you both agree that you received the $300 and that the car was Ms. Sly's, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So now what happens? One fine day, you decide you're going to loan the car to Julie.
Well, I loaned the car to David, or D, Boney.
Okay.
D's car broke down, so I don't drive it much and stuff. And Julie needed to get to work and stuff, so I loaned it to them, or loaned it to David, so he feeds some stray cats, and then Julie has to go to work, and so I loaned it to David until they figured out what was wrong with the car.
Right, but who did you think was going to be driving it? Both of them?
Actually, I wasn't sure if Julie was going to drive it to work or if David was going to, or Dee was going to take her.
What do you call your brother?
Dee.
Okay, why is this? Okay,
Dee
so
or Boney, because he don't like to be called David.
then don't call him David. Go ahead and call him whatever it is he wants to be called, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And then what happens? Julie is driving it and gets into a car accident, correct?
Yes.
And what a car accident. Julie, you want to tell me what happened?
Okay, I was leaving work on August 12th at about 10:30 at night, and I pulled up to the intersection, which was a four-way stop with stop signs, and I heard a siren. I looked to my right and I looked to my left, and I didn't see anybody. But then again, I heard the siren go off. So the light changed green, and I proceeded to go. I looked over my left shoulder.
I'm sorry, were you at a four-way stop or were you at a light?
I was at a light.
Okay, go on.
And so I proceeded to go because I heard the siren go off. Well, then I looked over my left-hand shoulder and I seen a car coming barreling down the road, and he made a sudden turn and hit me, and I did a 360, and then he ran into the side of the bank, and right behind him was a police officer.
So the police are chasing the bad guy, and then the bad guy hits you? I mean, the person they're chasing hits you?
Yes.
Right, okay. And then, all right, so were you hurt?
No, I was not.
That's good because it sounds like a terrible accident.
It was.
Yeah, I'm sure that it was scary. And then the car ends up totaled, correct?
Yes, that's correct, ma'am.
All right. Now, what should I call you? D, Boney?
Doesn't matter. D is fine.
It's always tough when family members sue one another in small claims court, but the judge will get to the bottom of it like she always does. Let's listen.
So, D, I am trying to understand your role in this. You're the one who...
Okay. My brother, I was his payee. And when he died, they came to my house. They said, your brother was found dead, etc. So we went over there that night and we found out that it was him. And so we made arrangements to pick up the car.
What did he die of?
We don't know. I think they said he had some breathing issues, infection or something, and he was having difficulty walking a couple days before that, and he was like running out of breath really quickly. So anyway, he decided to go home, and we hadn't heard from him for several days. But the reason we decided to see, there's just us three in our family. We come from a family with 8 kids. They've all preceded us in death. So there are only 3 of us left. There are no parents. He was on disability, and I was his payee. So he was a poor person with nothing. He rented an apartment. I mean, he had, just regular items that were really valueless. The car he had just purchased, I helped him to purchase it. We went to purchase like 2 months before he died. He spent $1,500 on the car. Right. So we just decided, since we had a car and Debbie needed a car and she was extremely close with him, we decided that we would, let her have the car, but we wanted some interest in the car. So we told her, if you pay us each $300, you can keep the car. So that's where
was there insurance on the car? Was there insurance on the car?
He had insurance, yeah.
Not
he had
him,
insurance. He always had insurance.
Right, but he had passed away. So
I'm sure it was still good. It was for whoever drove the car.
So did anyone make a claim on the insurance for the car?
No. What happened was the car was stolen immediately. And we didn't have time to transfer it into anyone else's name. When they stole the car, they stole the title and everything in his house. The key was next to his dead body when he died. So someone went in there and took the key. So in any event, we didn't have time to transfer the car, but he did have insurance that was good for anyone who drove the car.
Well, then here's my question, which wasn't answered. Did any of you, after this accident, make a claim on the insurance?
No, because we didn't know what the insurance was.
Oh, well then
because they
no
stole
one knows.
that
Then
too.
how do you know that he had insurance? Maybe it lapsed.
Because he was very big on that. He had to. I made sure.
Okay. Well, did you find
He
any?
just wouldn't drive without insurance.
Well, did you find any? If you're his payee, did you find any evidence of insurance payments, like in any of his bank accounts or anything else?
Well, I mean, he'd say, I need money to go pay my insurance. And he went to an insurance agent and he paid his insurance.
But you don't know
But I
where
don't
or
know
who
what company
or
it
what.
was or
All
anything
right.
like that.
So now,
I mean, I got a life. I can't do everything for him.
I know. So now here's my question. So did there come a time when you and Julie took borrowed the car?
Yes.
All right. And then the accident happens as Julie describes. So you've got the car and you're supposed to exercise a duty of care to return it in the same condition that you borrowed it. You feel that because the accident isn't your fault, why should she claim money from you? And I understand what you're saying.
Right.
But here's the deal. She actually has a right to sue you and to get back the value of the item that was lost while in your care. You guys are the ones, well, not really, Dee can't really do anything. Julie, you could file a lawsuit against the person fleeing the police. You could potentially, I don't know, you're from Des Moines, Iowa, and I'm not up on the law in Des Moines, Iowa, but there's some jurisdictions where the police cannot engage in a chase for certain types of crimes. They're just not worth it for the risk that they put everybody else in. So you potentially even have a lawsuit against the police. I don't know. I'm not suggesting that you do, but that's certainly something to look at.
So are the plaintiff's brother and sister ducking out on their responsibility paying for the car damage, or should they be going after the person who they say hit them? Let's find out and go back into the courtroom.
She is right when she says, listen, I loaned a whole car to them and I want a whole car back. If someone's going to go around suing the person, let you, Julie, sue the person. How is she going to sue the person? The car isn't even in her name. She can't turn around and sue the person. But even if the car was in her name, she would have a right to say, hey, I loaned you a complete car. Give me back a complete car. If something unfortunate happened while you had the car, then you chase the person who you feel is responsible. Go ahead. What did you want to say?
Well, they did say that I was entitled to restitution, so I think she should wait to get paid until I get the restitution money.
Well,
I'll be more than happy to pay her when I get it.
Okay, and what have you done in order to put yourself... I'm sorry, wait, Dee. What have you done to put yourself in a position where you'd be entitled to the restitution money? Who exactly have you spoken to?
Well, they called me from the Des Moines County Attorney's Office, I believe, and they said that I'm entitled to restitution and they're supposed to... send me paperwork for it. I have yet to receive that, though.
So it doesn't sound like much is happening. So I suggest that you pursue it. But the law is very black and white in this regard. Since you borrowed a complete, whole, and healthy car, and what you have to say to her is it's totaled, she is entitled to sue you folks for the Blue Book value of the car. That's what she's entitled to sue you guys for. You're not entitled to sue for the tow or any other money that you spent on the car when you had the car. That's not something you'd be able to sue for. But she is entitled to sue for the $1,699 Blue Book value. I know that may seem unfair to you, but that's exactly what she has a right to do. And that's what I'm going to order. And it's joint and several liability between the two of you because you both borrowed it from her, even though Julie's the one who had it. Both of you have an obligation to return it to her whole without an accident and without being totaled. And so you, Julie, who were in the car, driving the car, and was hurt by the accident, mercifully you weren't physically hurt. If you want to try to seek this money against the culprit or the police, whoever you want to seek it against, then you do that. But you're the one with the homework, not the person who loaned you something and then something bad happened in your possession. Verdict for the plaintiff, $1,699.
Thank you. I still don't think I should.
Well, yeah, it's fair. It's fair.
So, this in this lawsuit of siblings against each other, the plaintiff has prevailed. She was suing for $1,799. The judge has awarded her the blue book value of the car, which is $1,699. So, let me talk first to you, Dee and Julie. You've heard the judge's decision. What's your reaction?
But it's, we came to people's court because, I told her, I said, look, if there's any, we agreed to do this because I trust Judge Million's judgment. And what she says, that's the law, and that's fair. And so that's fine.
Let me ask you, what has this done to your relationship with Debbie, your sister?
It's
Pardon?
fine. It's just fine.
Nothing really.
We're the last three left, so we're fine with it,
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Let me talk to your sister. Ms. Sly, let me ask you, you seem rather upset, but you've heard the judge's verdict. You've prevailed here. What are you thinking right now?
I'm thinking, I'm grateful that Julie did not get hurt, first of all. And I just miss my brother so terribly because he was always at my house. And it's a hard thing I'm going through with trying to deal with his death.
Well, we're awfully sorry on that part. We understand how you feel, but are you okay with your sister and your brother? You wanted a decision.
Yes,
you okay?
I love him, and nothing changes that, and nothing's going to change That's why we went to court, and we all agreed that But no, we're not throwing knives at each other. We're just fine with that we decided to go to court and let the judge make the decision.
Well, you did the right thing. I'm glad you're not throwing knives at each other.
No,
very good.
I love it.
All right. Well, I hope this settles the dispute between the three of you, and
It definitely does.
and you can carry on. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Harvey, what do you think?
So, Doug, in a situation like this, the judge mentioned, is a bailment. And there are two types of bailments. Basically, it's when you use somebody else's property. One is called a bailment for hire, where somebody gives you something, but you give them something back in return. I give you my bike, you give me $10. In a situation like that, you have to use ordinary care to protect the item. In a situation where you don't give anything, but you get the item, that's called a gratuitous bailment. You have to use great care, and pretty much you're liable if there's damage.
How can I get someone out of my camper that was supposed to be there only 2 weeks and has been there for 2 years?
I think it was Ben Franklin who said that guests, like fish, begin to smell after 3 days. Right?
Yeah, I'm not so sure that's a guess if they've been able to stay there 2 years.
Right,
but
that's a long time. And you obviously, if you want to get rid of them, there's lots of things you can do. But someone who stayed there that long, in a court, they're going to claim some kind of a leasehold interest. And even people who have paid no rent, who are just couch surfing, when you go to court, they suddenly, I paid for this, I paid for that.
I got my mail there. That was my residence,
and I
was
the place every day.
Yeah, I put sweat equity.
Right.
So,
but you do want to know: do they have a key to come and go from that house? Do they get mail there? Do they have another place where they flop a lot of the time, where they do get their mail, and they kind of have a home base too? Like, how much of a residency is this?
all right, if it's someone who paid for it.
Right.
Even if I just paid 2 weeks rent,
Right.
Then you're a tenant, and
you got to abide by the rules.
You have to abide by eviction rules, but
Right.
you don't have to sit around waiting for 2 years and praying good things happen to you. Go to court, file an eviction case.
Right.
You don't need a lawyer for that.
No.
And you evict them from your property. You are not powerless.
Right.
Now, if you never rented to them and they literally are a trespasser, you can tell the police to remove them because they are a trespasser.
But they're going to claim
They're
a leasehold
going to claim a
interest,
leasehold.
right?
I've been getting mail there. I paid them rent. I this, I that. So your fastest and easiest thing to do is immediately follow the rules for an eviction, which usually involves slapping a notice on the camper door. You are not powerless.
Right.